I think I've seen this film before, and I would like some more interesting options. Let's talk about it. This is our comical reality. Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 16 of the BB27 Companion. It is wild. We're here. I'll get to the catch up to the videos I missed later, but it's a new HOH, and so as normal, I've stayed up way too late to get as much intel as I can before talking through what's happening in the week and some thoughts and direction. Last week, if you might recall, we had Jimmy as HOH, and he tried to do a consensus pick with two puns. Now we have a new HOH. Spoiler alert: it's Lauren. And she's trying to put up Keanu plus two pawns. Now, unfortunately, Adrian is in the alliance with Lauren, so she doesn't want to do that. Oh my god, my eye is doing something weird. Then you have Kelly, who volunteered last time, volunteered the first week. Guess what? They volunteered again. I can't do it. It's ridiculous. Kelly, apparently, she was talking with. She told Lauren and Mickey that she has a photogenic memory, and that is ridiculous. For those who don't know, the HOH comp was a memory comp that was audio based. Supposedly, Kelly would have dominated if it was visual, but it was not. So, and I don't know. Also, I don't know if you saw, but my camera's been doing weird stuff. It's all blurry. I don't know what's going on. It was making me a ghost. I think I posted a video of it. Weird. So without further ado, let's talk about, I guess we're at the start with Lauren as a player, like where she's positioned. Lauren is officially part of the bond. This is Zach, Adrian, Will, Ava, Lauren, Vince. There is sort of this counter alliance grouping of Mickey, Rachel, Morgan, Jimmy, Ashley, and then theoretically in that grouping you also have Vince and Lauren. Riley's kind of in the middle on the outs. Keanu's on the outside of everything. In the Venn diagram, he fits nowhere because he's that disliked. And one of the things for Lauren is who wins HOH is she's kind of in the middle. Now, she has an official grouping here, which is clearly where her loyalties lie, but she has, like, good connections on the other side. So strategically, she's with the bond. It seems pretty clear, because Zach, she has a final two vibe with Zach, and she apparently has official final two with Vince. Now, Vince may think his relation with Lauren is secret, but not only did Rachel discover it when she ran into them talking twice, but Vince has spent so much time with Lauren today that it's dead obvious to anyone who's been paying any attention to who Lauren's been talking to that Vince and her have to be working together. And they're so tied to the hip that it's sketching out even members of the bond. Adrian went in to talk with Vince, to talk with Lauren. Vince was there. Didn't leave. Adrian was like, okay, I guess I'm doing my one-on-one with Vince included. And then it's so awkward. It's like dead silence. Lauren's like, I can't make any decisions, but nothing Adrian says does anything to make Lauren do stuff. And it is super awkward. Okay, you can see this ghost stuff happening right here with the glass, whatever. But with the nominations for Adrian, she can't get anywhere, and so he ends up leaving, and he is assuming Vince is heading out with him so that Lauren can get a shower and think about some things. And Vince's like, is it okay if I stay for a couple seconds? And then Vince stays for another 45 minutes. Little sketchy that you want to talk with Adrian in the room, but you're clearly talking with Adrian outside the room, which is not good gameplay. You also have pissed off Ava. Lauren's also kind of pissed off Ava, who is like, why are we even talking about Will as a nominee? Because that's one of the people Lauren's talking about. And So positionally, she's in the bond. It's where her loyalties lie. But she's not fully. She's more interested in the least blood on her hands with a consensus target than she is in supporting her alliance. Which I talked about in the safe versus bold HOH gameplay. That safe H gameplay requires you to have your alliance to be happy with you. Safe HOH gameplay is about positioning and solidifying positioning, whereas bold HOH gameplay is about preventing loss in a way, right? Lauren is in a position where she can just solidify, right? But she has to solidify, which means you can't be nominating allies and then try and be like, we're an alliance, and maybe you can figure it out. But it's not going great for her so far. It looks like her nominees will be Keanu, shocker, Kelly, who's volunteered, of course, and then Will. The Will one is the one that's in the air. I think most of the alliance would want Ashley up. Lauren is scared Ashley will pop off. Ashley will go crazy. And I do think Ashley will create a unique, intense vibe. And also, she's won a comp, so as Vito, so she's not even like she's not even a safe option in terms of nominations to avoid a fourth nom. The fourth nom would probably be Rachel, just for people who are curious of where that would go. Lauren has talked about backdooring Rachel, it's just not really in the question. And so that's the general gist of the week from Lauren's perspective. I feel like a lot of these players have really underworked with Lauren. Like, I think Lauren is someone who's very willing to be influenced if you want to put the time and energy in influencing her. And it really feels like they've just ceded the ground to Vince for, like, strategically. And I don't think they quite realize how much Vince has been talking strategy with Lauren. But it is really weird. Like, Mickey's talked a bit, Morgan talked a bit, but none of them really had, let's figure things out together. It's very much like, I'm going to give you some ideas and we'll talk later, whatever. And I think often a first HOH wants to have a final answer before they go to bed, really as soon as possible. You have to make them make decisions early when you're talking, because otherwise they'll just be like, yeah, whatever. Otherwise, and they won't listen to your advice because they've already got things in their mind. Lauren did not have anything in her mind but probably Keanu. And then she's like, okay, I guess we'll do Kelly once Kelly volunteers and is like looking for options, and Vince is not exactly against that. Which continually frustrates me. And then you have, and so she's looking for options, and Vince is like, who's the main person in her alliance there, is saying Will. And so she's like, okay, I'll do Will. And then, of course, you now have the pushback, but it's harder to push someone back. Because when you meet someone initially and they have no thoughts, and you give them some thoughts, you'll give them some points, so they'll be here, right? If you want to change their mind, you have to remove all these points, and then also add new ones, right? So you have to do way more ground in terms of persuasion than you do if you're first. And Vince's first as well. Now, I think if you ask me right now, I do think it'll end up being Will. But I think Ashley's a really strong third other option. Just because I think a lot of people want her up. I apologize. God, I shouldn't be recording these things at 6:16 in the morning after watching feeds and they're still talking. But it's what it is. I would say overall, I think this week has has some potential, but I think this will be another pretty boring week. If Keanu gets off the block, I think this week could get very interesting. But I don't think it's the kind of interesting you want. Because Lauren wants a safe HOH. She doesn't want to take a shot. She's in such a good position right now that taking a shot at the other side will dramatically hurt her positioning. You can hear Mickey and Morgan talk about how if she gets nominated, or if they get nominated, they will target Lauren or to nominate her. And in this game with the blockbuster twist, nomination is really a death sentence in a lot of ways. They're worse than the 1v1 approach. But we'll see what happens. I'm going to go to bed. Thank you guys for listening. Have a good one. Bye.